In this video, we're going to take a look at 3 different ways to play a melody line that gave Bill Evans that unique sound. Hey, it's Tobey here from JazzMentl.com. Thanks for joining me for another one of my tutorials. In this one, we're going to take a look at the way that Bill Evans played the melody. Now, he didn't always just play a single note in the melody. In fact, he added harmonizations, and we're going to learn 3 different types of those to give us an edge on figuring out how we can apply that Bill Evans sound to our own playing. We are going to be using sheet music in this tutorial. I'm going to put a link to that sheet music a little bit later on in the video so you can stick around for that. It's free to download. All right, the very first technique that Bill Evans used to harmonize the melody was by adding thirds. So playing the melody note plus a third below. If you take a look at the beginning of Stella by Starlight here, the first 2 bars, essentially the melody is this. And you can see that I've added basically a third below that melody note. From the analysis by the Chordy app, it's alternating between major thirds and minor thirds. So which ones do you choose? Well, the answer is you basically play in the key of the moment, sticking to whatever key it is. And if you need to modify that by a half step to make it sound richer or sound more interesting, then you can absolutely do that. So let's play that melody line. Keep in mind that the left hand is essentially just a guide. I've put in some pretty simple voicings. They're chordal voicings plus an extra note. You don't need to play those voicings. In fact, you can play any voicings you want, including roots. And then I do the same thing with the B section. And you'll notice that at the end of that bar, going into the bridge, I have a triad. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But for now, let's stick to the thirds. What I did earlier was at the grand piano, I recorded a little bit of this, not using the exact same notes as in the sheet music, but basically taking a few more liberties. Now, the interesting thing about Bill Evans was not just the fact that he played thirds, but he phrased things. It was soft to loud to soft again, basically this lovely rubato style that made his playing very pretty. Let's listen to the first part of this. Notice the little ornamentations still using thirds, like this. And you can do that more than I've done it in that example. All right, the next way that Bill Evans harmonized a melody was with sixths. It's a really difficult thing to say, actually, sixths. What I did is in the last A section, where it goes back and plays the melody note, instead of thirds, we use sixths. You can hear that it sounds quite a bit different. Try to remember that when you're harmonizing things, you're sticking to the key of the moment. So for example, this is the key of F. So the only accidental is B flat. But when you get to the D half diminished seventh, you can see that we're switching to a different key because there's an A flat in there. Basically the key of E flat or A flat. And then back to B flat. Now, if you need to change a note here or there, you can absolutely do that by a half step. For example, you could experiment a little bit. That was with a B natural instead of B flat. Doesn't sound horrible. A natural. And of course, if you change the type of chord that you're playing in the left hand, you can also change the harmonization in the right hand as well. All right, there's the second way that Bill Evans harmonizes the melody note. Let's listen to the bridge first before we talk about the concept. This is a different way to play the melody, and this one really sounds very Bill authentic. Right here. And then I go back to thirds at the end. Now, what's happening there? And the answer is he's playing root position triads, also in the key of the moment. All right, starting off at the bridge, you've got a chord which is a G7 sharp 5 chord, and then moving to C minor here. Now, I know that the accidentals are a little weird in this chord, but basically all it is an A flat minor chord. So you've got E flat, B natural, and G sharp or A flat. Now, Cordy looks at that and says, oh, that's an F minor 7 flat 5 chord. But as soon as you put a G in the root, you get a G7 flat 9 sharp 5 chord. Now, you can change that to a major chord, but if you do that, you're going to create a flat 9 with the third of the chord, which is mostly not a good idea. So let's play that A flat minor chord. And then phrasing, and it goes up to a B flat triad, back to A flat major. So there's a G minor chord in the right. We're here right now on the A flat 7 chord right here. The other thing that I want to point out with this particular style is that the left hand plays the exact same rhythm as the right hand. You can see eighth notes here, and it basically copies it. So the left hand is playing locked chords, the right hand is playing triads from the scale above that. And that's really that unique Bill Evans sound. You can do that with the thirds and the sixths, but if you overuse it, it gets a little bit too much. So you don't want to do that for the entire tune. Basically what I'm doing is in the bridge section, we're using this style and then moving back to thirds in the last A section. Let's listen to the recording one more time, and we'll start where it's going into the bridge. Notice there was left hand inner voices playing there at the end. Let's go back a little bit and listen to that F minor chord. We're going to talk about inner voices in another video. Then it starts the solo section. So we're basically going from rubato into light swing. You can see that there's examples even in the solo section where we're harmonizing the melody of the solo with either thirds, sixths, or root position triads. thirds, triads, notice the left hand playing the same rhythm as the right hand. The link is going to be in the description below eventually, plus when it's ready, I'm going to put it up here in the corner as well. This tutorial is going to be posted first, and then I'll post that recording a little bit later. Okay, so there's a little bit about how Bill Evans would phrase melody lines and basically voice in thirds, sixths, and group position triads to give that unique Bill Evans sound. I hope that makes sense. If you want to comment on this or ask any questions, you can do that in the comment section below. I'm going to post a link to this sheet music that we've talked about in this tutorial. I'm going to put that up here in the corner. It's absolutely free to download. I should also point out that I've got a new album coming out very soon. I'm going to be connecting with many subscribers here in this channel to get you to do a few things to help the release of that new album. We're basically launching a single every month. So keep your ears and eyes open for some announcements from the JazzMentl channel. And as always, if you like videos like these, just reach down below, click the little thumbs up button. It really helps us here at the channel. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd absolutely love to have you. And if you're looking for more tutorials for Bill Evans type concepts, let me post a link to another video right here.